Current record is 958. My PB is 976. I will destroy the world record soon. I'm him. Who gonna stop me besides myself?
Picture this. Fred Kerley is one of the greatest sprinter America has produced in a decade. A man who ran the 100 meters in 9.76 seconds, who stood on the top step of a world championship podium on his home soil, gold around his neck. A man so fast that the only humans who had ever beaten his time were Usain Bolt, Johan Blake, Tyson Gay, Asafa Powell, and Justin Gatlin, legends. Now picture that same man getting tased on a Miami Beach sidewalk while his estranged wife is simultaneously in a courtroom telling a judge that she feared for her life. That is where Fred Kerley's story is right now. As of May 2026, he is banned from competitive athletics, facing criminal charges, signed to the enhanced games where athletes openly take performance-enhancing drugs. The World Athletics Championships went on without him in 2025, and instead of competing, he was posting on social media about the enhanced games, a competition that exists specifically to allow the things that the sport he once dominated spent decades trying to prevent. And the worst part is, it didn't have to be this way. None of it had to be this way. This is a story about a man who had everything: the talent, the medals, the rare physical gifts, but then made a series of choices that dismantled all of it, one piece at a time. And the reason it hurts is that the real Fred Kerley, the version that existed at his peak, was something genuinely special. Fred Kerley arrived at Texas A&M after transferring from South Plains College. Coaches immediately understood that something special about him. He was 6'3" and enormous for a sprinter, with a stride that covered much ground compared to other guys his age. He had played basketball and football in high school, so he was not someone whose entire identity was wrapped around the 400 meters. In 2017, he won the NCAA Indoor 400-meter title, anchored Texas A&M to its first ever team championship. Then a few months later at the NCAA West Preliminary, ran 43.7 seconds, breaking a record set by Quincy Watts, an Olympic gold medalist that had stood for almost 25 years, and he took 3/10 off it. He turned professional that summer, signed with Nike, won the USATF championships in his first season, and finished 7th in his first World Championship final. A respectable debut, and a statement that Kerley was here to dominate. Over the next 2 seasons, the 400 meters became his playground. He won the Diamond League final in 2018. Then in 2019 at the USATF championships, he ran 43.64 seconds. At the time, that made him the 7th fastest man in 400-meter history. The world record set by Wade van Niekerk sits at 43.03. That gap of 61 hundredths sounds small until you understand that most elite athletes spend entire careers never getting anywhere near either number. That same year in Doha, he won bronze at the World Championships and helped the US win gold in the 4x400 relay. He was 24 years old, one of the best 400-meter runners on the planet, and somehow, he hadn't even shown his best card yet. Then COVID hit, the Olympics got pushed back a year, and Kerley made a decision that genuinely surprised people in the sport. He was going to shift his focus to the 100 meters. That's not how it's supposed to work. You don't walk away from 400-meter talent like that to chase the shortest sprint on the program. Kerley didn't care. At the Tokyo Olympics in 2021, running the 100 meters for the first time on that stage, he won silver in 9.84 seconds. Then the following year, at the 2022 World Championships in Eugene, Oregon, he crossed the line in 9.86 and took gold. World champion. The fastest man on earth, officially. A kid from Taylor, Texas, standing under the lights in Eugene with gold around his neck. That was a real thing that really happened. But 2022 still had more to give. Later that summer, he ran 9.76 seconds, becoming the 5th fastest man in history by then. By 2024, Paris was supposed to be the confirmation. The moment where Kerley proved he wasn't a one-time champion, but the defining sprinter of a generation. But he missed gold by 0.03 of a second. Noah Lyles won gold in 9.784 seconds, 5 thousandths ahead of Kashane Thompson in a photo finish. Kerley was 0.03 of a second behind Noah and Thompson. He could have leaned into that loss, used it. He was 29, still in his prime, capable of running times most sprinters never reach. And the rivalry with Lyles was just beginning to find its shape. Kerley, the no-nonsense veteran, against Lyles, the showman who had turned track into must-watch television. It was getting genuinely interesting, the kind of back and forth that carries a sport for years. In May 2025, Kerley was tased and arrested on Miami Beach. His estranged wife was in court the same day telling telling a judge she feared for her safety. The details were messy and complicated, the way personal crises usually are, but the consequences were instant. World Athletics launched a review, and in June 2025, Fred Kerley received a 2-year ban for missing required out-of-competition drug tests. The ban runs to August 2027 at the earliest. He will be 32 when he's eligible again. And then, while the 2025 World Championships were happening in Tokyo without him, he posted on social media announcing he had signed with the Enhanced Games, a league built specifically around the thing the sport has spent decades fighting. He joined a competition that doesn't run drug tests at all. The head of the athletics integrity unit called it grotesque. It was hard to argue. Here's the version of the story that never happened. Kerley, at 27, had run 9.76. Sprinters who hit that at 27 often find another gear before 30. The development curve in the short sprints is longer than people think. A sub 9.75 wasn't a fantasy, it was a realistic projection. And in the 400, the picture gets even bigger. His 43.64 was set at 24, before he had spent years building the top-end speed that would eventually make him a 9.76 sprinter. He talked openly about going back to the 400 one day, about pointing that sprint speed at Van Niekerk's world record of 43.03. Van Niekerk was 24 when he ran it. Kerley at 24 had run 43.64. With the speed he developed by 27, a sub 43 wasn't just a dream. It was something you could actually make a case for. And maybe, just maybe, Kerley would have done it. The 9.76 is still on the all-time list. The 43.64 is still there. The gold from Eugene is still there. The sport has a long memory for his great accomplishments. Justin Gatlin came back from a doping ban, won World Championship silver, and was still being booed in stadiums years later. The crowd in London booed him when he was announced as champion. Track and field punishes this kind of departure in ways medals can't fix. And Kerley didn't leave quietly. He left loudly, mid-suspension, while signing with the competition his sport considers its opposite. What makes this genuinely disappointing is that the talent was massive and of great potential. Track and field will continue, as it always has. New champions will emerge, records will fall, and the lanes will fill with athletes eager to claim the space he once occupied. Yet what makes Kerley's story so compelling is not simply that his career may be over, but that it forces us to reckon with the scale of what might have been. The Enhanced Games were scheduled for May 22nd to 24th, 2026, at Resorts World Las Vegas, featuring a 6-lane indoor sprint track. Kerley himself said it plainly, "The world record has always been the ultimate goal of my career. This now gives me the opportunity to dedicate all my energy to pushing my limits and becoming the fastest human to ever live." World Athletics President Seb Coe has called the Enhanced Games a dangerous clown show. Any athlete who competes faces lengthy bans from World Athletics, which for Kerley barely changes anything. He's already banned until August of 2027, so he might as well take a chance and roll the dice on this one.
I'm him. Who gonna stop me besides myself?